guys, it's Bryony Rose here, and for today's video I thought I would do something that's kind of been highly requested, which is my best and my worst experiences stage dooring. So in my previous video, obviously I spoke about the tips and tricks for stage dooring, but I asked you guys if you'd be interested in seeing me like talk about my best and worst experiences, and a lot of you said yes, so I thought for today's video I would talk about them because I've stage doored like quite a lot, especially at 6. I've pretty much stage doored most of the times I've been, and also at other shows that I've seen recently like Soho Cinders and Juliet, Waitress. So I thought I've kind of put together, I've had a look at all my stage door experiences and I was like, what are my best ones and what are my worst ones, and I thought I'd kind of talk to you about them because I feel like they're interesting stories. So yeah, maybe grab a tea because I don't know how long this video is going to be, and enjoy me on my journey where I talk about experiences. So first off, if you don't know what stage door is, just in case and if you don't know, just for context of this video, essentially stage dooring is when you wait outside a theatre after the show's finished for the performers and the cast to come out, and then you can like take photos, get stuff signed, talk to them, etc., and just show thanks after they've performed. That's basically what it is. Performers don't actually have to stage door, it's like a choice, it's not part of their contract. Some do, some don't, it really depends and it varies between shows. And yeah, it's like a great experience. So I've had some like very like amazing stage door experiences, and I've had some just awkwardly cringy ones. So in this video we're going to be talking about both of them. Right, to start off, I feel like we should start with like a positive. I don't want to start this video on like awkwardness, bad stage door experiences, so we're going to start with like a good stage door experience. And my first good stage door experience would have to be in the summer. So to set the scene for you, it's the 24th of August in London, so it's hot, the weather's like popping, it's like a great atmosphere, and in the morning me and Izzy, so basically it was Courtney Boleyn's debut, so she hadn't done Boleyn before, and both me and Izzy, obviously, and we still are obsessed with Courtney Stapleton, so we were like, we really want to go to 6. So in the morning we went on Today Tix. If you don't know, Today Tix do like rush tickets, and also the show was like already sold out, so the only way we could get tickets was to rush it. So we went onto the Today Tix app at 10 AM and basically we're like tapping, like we really want tickets, and Izzy managed to get a matinee ticket and I managed to get an evening ticket. So we were like, boom, we're gonna go to this show. It wasn't planned. Usually like we know when we're going to shows in the past, but like because it was like on the day we wasn't sure if we were going to go, so we were like super excited. We're like, oh my gosh, the weather's like amazing, let's go down. So I was like, I don't want to like just go for the evening, I'm gonna come down for like the whole day and spend time with Izzy. So I met her just after her show had finished because I was like, well, I'm not gonna like go before her show because then I'm gonna have to wait like an hour and a half. So I waited until her show had finished and I met her outside, like just outside like the theatre. And like what was really nice at the time of like the matinee was like you had like obviously people indoors stage dooring in the foyer, and then kind of just like people outside chatting and chilling. So weather was nice, like it was just a lovely day. That's all I remember, it being like such an amazing day. I hadn't actually seen the show because obviously I had a ticket for the evening, but I was still outside waiting. I wasn't like planning on stage dooring at any point. I was just like, I haven't paid like to see the matinee, I'm not gonna stage door, I'm just outside. But obviously Izzy had gone to the show, so we were like still chatting outside. My mum had actually come down. I don't really know why my mum had come down because she didn't need to be there, but she was there, which was honestly the best thing ever once I tell you the story. But I don't actually know why she was there. I think she just wanted to come along. Maybe she just, I don't know, she was there anyway. And so what happened is that we obviously were just outside chatting. I think I was also vlogging this, so I'll insert like kind of vlog clips here and there to like kind of explain. But we were just talking about the fact, like Izzy was saying how much she loved Courtney, and then obviously stage door was happening at the time, so they had gone through the foyer. I think pretty much most of the queens had come out, and then they all kind of stood outside because obviously they were like going around the people, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to say, like do I say hi? And Natalie was like by the side of us, and she had just come back from holiday, and she was just like just chilling like next to where I was because like I think she'd gone for everyone first, so she didn't really know what to do. She didn't want to go straight back in, and I was like, oh, do I say something? So I was like, hi Natalie, how's your holiday? And she like turned to me, she was like, oh, and then she like started talking about her holiday, and both me and Izzy were like, oh, this is so great. So we're like chatting and stuff, and then like, because we were basically at the end of like what stage door would be if you were going outside. So obviously, like, I think then Maya finished, and then she kind of joined Natalie, then Lexi finished and she kind of joined, and then JJ came out, and Lexi was like, oh, can I have a photo? I would love a photo of like me, Natalie and Maya. And she like gave me her phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got Lexi McIntosh's phone. So I was like, okay. So I like took some photos, which actually ended up being on her Instagram, which I think is really cute. And then I can't for the life of me remember how it happened, but I believe because I was already vlogging at the time, they kind of like started to like form like, it's really hard to explain, but like they were kind of like just like out on the street, and they were like chatting all to each other and stuff, and obviously I'd been taking photos of those three, and my mum was like, Bryony, like get a photo of them all, and I was like, no I shouldn't, oh my gosh, no. And then both me and Izzy were like so stressful, like, oh my god, like what do we, like should we ask for a photo, should we not? Because my mum was there, my mum took the camera and was like, go, just ask, go and ask. And by this point, people in the foyer, obviously they'd finished with the like stage door, so they started to come out, so there was like a group gathering like watching this whole thing happen. And essentially mum vlogged as like me and Izzy like walk, like we were like chatting and we were like, can we get a group photo? And Lexi was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So like basically there was 6 of us, which I think is the cutest thing ever, because it was those 4, it was JJ, Lexi, Natalie and Maya plus me and Izzy. So we're in like a group of 6, and then we were like taking photos, and then we actually filmed like a video segment where Lexi was like, oh, make sure you like follow Bryony and stuff.
And this vlog, man, you're just trying to get them numbers up, I see you. Right, what is this for picture video? So yeah, say something. You are here live at 6 the Musical. We are the Queens, and follow. What's your Insta name?
Bryony Rose.
Bryony Rose. Make sure you follow. If you don't follow, I'll come find you, yeah?
I just remember being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And I think that hands down is probably my favourite stage door experience ever, purely because it wasn't planned. Like, I wasn't expected to stage door, I wasn't expected to be at the show, and it felt so like sweet. Like they didn't have to like take a photo of us, and I think that's probably one of my favourite photos, because I don't know, it just was so great. And even then, like me and Izzy always say, like, remember like summer 6, that's what we call it, as like our word for like what it was like going to 6 in August. And it was just, yeah, it was incredible, and that's probably my favourite photo. So yeah, I think that's probably my favourite time ever going to 6 was that time, because I got to chat to all of them. And also, because you know how I mentioned that everyone came out, I didn't actually mention like how cool that was, but basically everyone had like come out and they were like watching us. And at this point I'd obviously been doing YouTube for like a while, so like some people like, oh, I think knew me from my videos, and they were like, oh my gosh, like, that's Bryony. And I was like, hi everyone. And everyone was like watching in like shock at like the fact like we were just like standing there just like getting this like giant group photo. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like we're so lucky. Like that point I was like, I feel like the luckiest person in the world. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. So we're gonna have a worst stage show experience, because I feel like we've got high, let's go to like a worst. So I won't start with the worstest, but I'll start with one of the awkwardest ones, which was when me and Izzy went to 6 the Musical on tour in, what was it, Milton Keynes. So if you don't know, me and Izzy went to Milton Keynes to see 6 because it was Shekinah's birthday, and we were like, we love Shekinah, we'd obviously done an interview with her before, so we knew her really well, and we were like, let's surprise her for her birthday, go to see her perform, and then we'll give her a present, etc. So basically we went to 2 shows for her birthday. We went to the matinee in the evening, but because there was like a big enough break between the matinee and the evening, they did come out a stage door for the matinee, so we knew there was a stage door. I'm like, I know where the Arts Theatre stage door is, and also it's really obvious because it's like in the foyer, but like obviously some theatres the stage door's like completely miles away, and at Milton Keynes Theatre it is literally miles away. It's not even like round the corner, because the theatre itself is absolutely huge. It's like through all these things. So we were like, okay, we're obviously going to be able to find the stage door, it's not going to be a problem. So we weren't in like too much of a rush to leave, because we wanted to take photos by the stage. So we weren't like super like rushing out, but like there were people in front of us, people behind us. But the thing is that not a lot of people stage doored for Milton Keynes, because I assume they like didn't know they could. So usually you would like follow a trail of people, like, okay, these people are headed to the stage door, we'll follow them. But there was no one around, so we were like, okay, this is gonna be hard. So we approached the people at the exit, like the usher people, front of house. We were like, oh, where's stage door? And the woman's like, okay, you want to turn right, you want to go down, and then there's like a hedge, and then go through the hedge, and there's stage door. So we're like, perfect. Seems easy, right? So we like, bear in mind, we have a giant balloon. I haven't even mentioned this at this point. We've got a giant balloon for Shekinah, like a giant like birthday crown balloon. We've got like 2 bags, like one for presents, one of like my own stuff, like my vlogging camera and all that stuff, and like a backpack. It was like a lot of stuff. So we're like, okay, so we start like walking, and obviously we've also got our 6 jackets on. So we go down the side of this theatre, and there's like one giant like path, and we see like a hedge, and we're like, okay, that's the hedge. And we see like some clear doors, we're like, okay, that's stage door, obviously. Like, it never once crossed my mind like that wasn't stage door. I was like, obviously that's stage door, they're doors, and it's near a stage. So I was like, stage door, perfect. So I was like, oh, there's no one here, but I didn't see anyone leave before us, so that's fine, we're obviously the first people here. So we stopped there, we put our stuff down, and we're like waiting, and like obviously people behind us are like following us, in the sense that like they also want to stage door. They're like, oh, okay, those girls obviously, they look like they know 6, they're like prepared for 6. Maybe I know, like I've watched Bryony's video, but even not, like they look like they know where they're going. So everyone like stopped with us, and we like all formed like a group outside this door. We were like waiting, and I feel like maybe like 10 minutes passed, and we're like, okay, like that's kind of normal, but like we didn't think much of it. And this group's getting bigger, because obviously like once you see one person waiting at that door, you wait with them. And I feel like 15 minutes passed, we're like, okay, bit weird, but like maybe they're just like taking their time. And right opposite was like a car park, and I assume that's for just like people who work for the theatre. And this woman's like about to get in her car, and she like turns around and she's like girls, like, are you looking for stage door? And we're like, haha, yeah, like this is it, isn't it? She's like, no, that's not stage door. Stage door's like around the next hedge. And I swear to God, I just was like, you're kidding me. I was like, what? And like, just to make it even more awkward, everyone who had been waiting with us was like, but we know who you are, Bryony. Like, we thought obviously you know where stage door is because like you're a fan. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've like directed all these people to the wrong place. So we were like obviously laughing, like people weren't mean about it, they just thought it was funny. So we like then see this like second hedge, we're like, oh, it must be the second hedge they're talking about. So we go to the second hedge, then turn the corner, and we're like, oh, here's the other 50 bloody people who like obviously knew where stage door was. And by this point she kind of come out, but thank God we didn't miss her. I think that would have been like prime worst experience if like we had actually missed her, and like after all of that, and like going all the way to Milton Keynes with Blue for her to like go in and come back, like go out and then come back in again. But I just remember being like, that's so awkward, and just the people like laughed at me about it. And like,
only 6 content in this vlog. Yeah. We're idiots. We're actually idiots.
I'm so sorry. Is someone there through the hedge? I thought that was the hedge.
Oh, that's the arch they were talking about.
Thank you.
You'll know for next time.
I don't think anyone else will know necessarily. We'll be fine.
We're actually idiots.
Everybody just
Everyone followed you. Thought you knew what we were talking about. We were at the wrong place, guys.
Yes, sorry.
We're on our way.
waiting outside a empty door.
Oh, that's really embarrassing. What if they've all gone? That'd be so sad.
Oh my God, Maddie's like, where's Bryony at?
She's like, Maddie!
Oh, that's an actual, I see, that's like an actual door.
Oh, that was...
Oh, it's fine, I don't know.
Oh my God, look who it is, look who it is, look who it is.
So yeah, that was probably one of my worst experiences, was like not know where stage door is. So I always recommend like check beforehand, or like usually stage door is signed. So then when we then went to the actual stage door, it had a sign, I'm pretty sure, saying stage door. So like always check, it tends to be labelled, and if ever in doubt it will look like an entrance into a theatre. Was this just looked like a random door? So like looking back, both me and Izzy were stupid to think that was stage door, but I think in our heads we're like, of course it is, it's after the hedge. Like we followed the instructions way too literally. So yeah, that's kind of a bad mistake. So I feel like now we should do another good experience just to like make it a bit more positive. And I would say one of my probably my second most favourite stage door experience would have to be the 6 sing-along, the first one. So sorry these are all 6, I just feel like I've had so many more experiences at 6 to like be able to like say like these was one of my favourite, but the first 6 sing-along generally would probably be one of the favourite things I've ever experienced in my life. In terms of shows, that's my favourite show I've seen, but in terms of stage door experiences, I'll put it second just because like the other one just topped it ever so slightly. But the reason I really like the first sing-along experience was because I went on my own because I didn't have any friends that were into 6 at the time. And I just remember being like, oh, should I go? Like, I was so nervous about going on my own. I wasn't sure what to expect. I was like, I can't sing, so like, is everyone going to be like an amazing singer and it's going to be really awkward? And I just didn't really know what to expect. At that point, I knew pretty much every lyric. So I was like, oh, I know I'm going to enjoy it. Like, I know what I'm doing. I just don't know if, like, everyone's going to be fans or if people have just, like, booked it as a normal show and I'm just going to be awkwardly singing on my own. Like, I had no idea. And I just remember, like, being outside and everyone being, like, super into 6 and being like, oh my gosh, I've, like, found my cult. I've found the people who I'm meant to be with. And, that was, I think, the first video I ever vlogged. So I vlogged like one 6 experience beforehand, which was like a really short video, but this was like the first vlog I'd ever made properly. So I don't really know why, on top of being nervous about going, I never thought I should vlog, but like looking back, it was obviously the best experience ever. So I remember having my vlogging camera and being like, okay, this like feels a bit weird because obviously no one else vlogs, let alone like the fact that I didn't really know what I was doing. So I was like going around like vlogging, and I remember like sitting down in my seat because I had a slip seat, which was like the cheapest tickets you can buy. I think it was like £20. And the people next to me were so sweet. Like, I think I remember sitting down, they were like, oh my gosh, like, who are you? Like, we'd love to get to know you better. And like, I just remember having such good chats with everyone beforehand. Obviously the show was insane, like, it was on fire, everyone was like standing up dancing. House of Holbein was basically a nightclub. We were all like getting up, like jumping, it was so mental. And when we came out, I remember having this like feeling of like overwhelmingness. Like, I felt emotional because I felt so happy. Like, I never really feel like that when you get so happy you feel like you're gonna cry, but that's literally how I felt. And I remember stage door was like, because I was in the slip seats, I got out reasonably fast because there was not like, I didn't have to wait for everyone to come out, so I was near the front of like the stage door. And I remember like JJ coming out and being like, oh my god, like this was so epic. And I remember vlogging it and being like, oh my gosh, like this is mental. And like obviously like all the queens came out that day, and I think I remember that like being really cool because the time I went before I hadn't stage doored, so this was like my first ever stage door experience at 6 properly. And them coming out and then being like, oh my gosh, you guys were amazing, you were buzzing. They were like filming it and I was like filming them back. It was like double filming. And I just like, I remember it just being like really special. And I got all of them on camera, well most of them on camera, although my camera at the time was so annoying. It like would focus until I'd meet someone and then unfocus, and I remember being so annoyed about that. But I remember all the like little snippets. That was like the first time I got to like get to know everyone. And it being on camera felt really cool. So like, I remember when I filmed Maya for the first time, she was like, oh my gosh, I thought this was a photo, I didn't realise it was a video. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, it was just like such nice little interactions. And I remember like them like coming down and I was like vlogging them and stuff, and they all just took time to like chat because obviously they were like so hyped from like the show. It just felt like if you were there when that happened, it felt so special to like be in the room, you know, be in the room where it happens. Yeah. And then I remember, so Natalie came out, but I think I missed her, so I was like waiting, like, oh, I really want to speak to Natalie. And I was like, oh, do I go over to her? Like, I don't know what to say. So me and my friend, basically this wasn't Izzy because this is before I knew Izzy, we were like, okay, we're gonna like go over and like say hi. So we were like waiting, and then like she was just like, she kind of like had a little group of people around her because she was like dead in the middle of the foyer. This was before they had the purple rope down, by the way, so you could like just kind of stand wherever. And then yeah, so then she like she was like standing there and like we went over. I was like, hi Natalie, like it's really nice to meet you. And she like just had like a full-blown conversation. I was like, oh my god, like I expected it to be like hi, photo, bye. It was like full conversation. And after that I was like, I love stage door at 6.
me. I gotta catch a train. It's like 11:07 and I'm still here. I gotta run to Marylebone. Am I gonna catch it? No. Stay tuned for more clues. Get a train.
Saving that clip. Oh my god, you are amazing. Thank you. So good. Thank you. Like the train to treat me that much. You literally made me cry. Thank you so much. Oh my god, hi vlog. Yes, we have a cool match. So good. Thank you. I was crying with you. Like you cried up my tears. I know. It was so overwhelming. The most overwhelming thing. And I just, oh, it was just so great. Just thinking about it puts a smile on my face. And to think that I captured all of that on camera to relive over and over again is literally so precious in my heart, because it was just such an amazing experience. Right, so now we've had another good, I feel like we have to go back to a worst stage door experience, and this would have to be Anne Juliet opening night. Oh, so we went to Anne Juliet for opening night, and I like, the show itself was amazing. This is literally just about the stage door, and for some reason I was just feeling incredibly shy that day. And I'm usually like, I know I touched on this before, I get quite shy at like 6, but it doesn't mean I don't speak. Like it just means I hesitate a little bit more. But for some reason at Julia, I was just so struggling at stage door. I don't know what it was. I just felt incredibly like I just couldn't talk to anyone. So both me and Izzy were basically being really annoying, because we would stand there, wait until maybe we'll speak to someone, and then we were like, no, we're not going to do it. So like the whole way through the vlog, we're like, should she do it? Should she do it? No, she's not going to do it. And I remember seeing like all around me people like successfully like chatting to people, and I was like, why is this not me? Anyway, we finally had plucked up the courage to speak to Romeo. So we were like, okay, we're going to speak to Romeo. He's here. Like, we've just got to do it. We can't, like, I was like, we've waited too long. We'd been there for like half an hour, spoken to no one. We're like, we have to go and speak to Jordan. And we were like, we can do it. We can do it. Like, it won't be so awkward. It'll be fine. And I think we'd like spoken to a few people. We'd spoken to Grace and people, which obviously we felt a lot more comfortable with because we knew her. But like people who like we hadn't seen before, like obviously like people who we didn't know before the show, we were like, this is a little bit more awkward. So he was one of them. Anyway, he was there. We were like, okay, so we had the camera out, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna do it. So Izzy goes, oh my gosh, it's Romeo, and waves, and he's like smiling, and then she goes, oh, but your name's not actually Romeo, it's... And then she like pauses as if she's forgotten his name, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So she looks at me and I'm like, I've known this guy for all of about an hour, and I can't just get my poker out. And I'd gone over, this is another thing, like I stressed this before, like you have to know people's names. I'd gone over in my head what his name was. I was like, I know his name, I know his name, I know his name. But at that moment, I just panicked. I was like, I've just forgotten this guy's name. And I just looked and I was like... And then he was like, oh, it's Jordan. And both me and Izzy were like, yeah, we knew. But we like didn't remember his name. And I've never felt as awkward as not knowing someone's name and him having to say his name. So like, oh, I'm gonna like joke it off, like clearly I knew that was his name. So I was like, hey Jordan, her, yeah, I thought it was like Jordan, you know. He was like, no, it's Jordan. And I was like, oh. Oh, and I've never felt so awkward about something in my life than that experience. And then from that moment on, like the conversation just wasn't going at all. Like it was like, you were great, but like he obviously knew we didn't know who he was, and it just, I just remember the whole time. And bear in mind, we were also vlogging this, so just to make it worse, it was they like captured. I don't know if I have the raw footage because I trimmed it for the vlog because I was like, I don't want people to know that. But if I find it, I'll insert it here. But I just remember it being so beyond awkward in my life. I just want to erase that from my memory.
Hello! It's Romeo!
So nice.
But his name's not Romeo.
My real name is actually Jordan.
Yeah, we don't. We were like, Jordan.
No one says Jordan.
You said Jordan, so I'm just going to say you said Jordan.
No, I'm just straight up Jordan now. Of course.
Yeah, that was probably literally one of the worst stage experiences of my life, was like forgetting someone's name. especially because it was like our first experience with them, so it was like we have to now like redeem ourselves every time we go, which hopefully we're doing. I think Jordan likes us again now, but before I was just like, he's probably gonna remember that, like, oh, it was my opening night and someone couldn't even remember my name. So yeah, so that's going to be the end of today's video. I was going to do 3 goods and 3 bads, but this video is already like 25 minutes long. Plus if I trim it, it's still going to be like 20 minutes, and I don't want this video to be too long. So if you guys want a part 2 of some more worst and best stage door experiences, comment them down below and I will do a part 2, because I have even more to tell you guys about. I just don't want to make this video too long. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to me. I really appreciate it. Join the Bryony Brains community where 90% of our brains are filled with 6. And yeah, so make sure you also follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of theatre content on there if you want. I also do lives and stuff, so a lot of theatre stuff, so give that a follow. And I'll catch you for another fun video soon.